All right, ladies and gentlemen, back again. At least me and Carter, 2 for 2. Tales from the Flipside Monday night, episode 276. We're talking about some DC news, SDCC, Flash review. At least John saw it. You know, that's always a plus. And we got market report action, and hopefully we got some pickups. We don't know yet. And then we'll see what's going on. So let's do the intro and let's get going. All right. Me and Carter, we're at least I'm feeling it, Carter. Shit, man, I'm trying to keep it together, man.
You guys are beasts.
We're trying. We're trying.
2 in a row.
I know. So, start out with news, not in any particular order. Sony removes Bad Bunny Spider-Man spinoff Immorto from the calendar. Obviously, it says in the little description there, but the writer's strike has claimed another victim.
So the writer's strike is like a slasher. It's going around just taking out movies, taking out projects.
You know what's funny? I like this one. Remember the last writer's strike we had when they had people just writing stupid shit, and it was just what was it, Chris? Like 2 years of just stupid movies that came out. Like what the fuck?
I mean, we ended with a bunch of bad stuff. Things ended poorly because of the fact they couldn't go back and punch things up again. So like, all right, we got what we got. So like some stuff ended up having really shitty endings to their series because they couldn't go back and like fix. I'm trying to. There's like a couple movies that like had, what was it, 06 was the last writer's strike?
I believe so.
That's when reality TV went to shit.
Yeah.
Or went crazy. I mean.
Yeah, so it was 07, 08. So, like, a bunch of movies that came out during that time were negatively impacted by the writer's strike. So, yeah, it was pretty bad, like, the products that we got because of it.
Well, I mean, what's going to happen this time, though? Like, last time they relied on, the new genre of reality TV, and that stuff's already everywhere. So it could get real suck monkey real fast, especially all these streaming services looking for content.
That's the other thing, too. How much stuff is not in the pipeline or been developed that's been on the shelf that's waiting to release over,
I mean, there's only so much, though, because, like, this streaming thing wasn't here then. This is... Mm-hmm. And that's an unstoppable beast. People run out of shit to watch; they'll cancel.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
I saw something that it sounds like this strike's going to go through the fall.
Well, so what's potentially going to happen is that, like, even if this strike ends, SAG-AFTRA's projected the strike like they're supposed to come for negotiation right after. Yeah. So it's like. So it's like a daisy chain of like you go from writers to Screen Actors Guild to Screen Workers Guild. So like those Teamsters type folks, production crew and those folks, because again, those are all different unions. So yeah, it's going to be messy, and we may not be through this fully for a year or so potentially.
Oh, it could get bad.
I mean, it's a long time for people to be sitting. I mean, and the thing is too, like, I want to reiterate, people are just like, oh, woe is, these actors, whatever. It's again, like, people have this idea that Hollywood writers are like raking in dough, and it's like, some of them are doing very well for themselves, and other ones are, basically barely making ends meet. The people who I have a personal connection to who are really impacted by this are the screen workers. Like, those are just regular people who who are construction workers who decided to do it for film. Like they legitimately are people who are throwing up plaster and building shoddy, made to look like a real building type building. Mm-hmm. These are like construction workers at the end of the day. And I guess, they could go back and work a regular construction job, but like people who do greens, who are like all the plant stuff to make it, and vegetation to make it look like a locale, or to make a parking lot look like the front of a business. Like, those people are out of work. I mean, what are they going to go do? Go back to Lowe's and work in the gardening department? Like, you had a lifestyle and a job, and yeah, you're just hanging out for going on what now? 3 months? 2.5, 3 months of this.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Heroes Reborn with almost a $5. I will not be discussing my VHS tape collection unless this goes really poorly at the end. We could. I mean, it's awfully nothing, but it's okay.
Did you guys talk? I don't remember. I missed last week. Did you guys talk about that Kraven trailer?
Yeah, I just showed a pop up of it. I didn't watch it like an idiot. I heard it was Morbius 2.0.
I mean, it can't be worse than Morbius.
And it looks on par.
That's true. I mean, the Rhino thing's like, really?
Yeah. I mean, it was funny. I was listening to was it Comic Pop or their Amalgam series where it's absolutely awesome or whatever it's called. And they were making some valid points about how the changes to Kraven. Because again, I wasn't reading original Kraven. I've read the classic stuff of the 80s, but because Kraven's powers, depending on who's writing him, changes depending on what time of year it is. But yeah, they're going with the whole element that was introduced in the Spider-Man cartoon, and I think it was also in the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon where he has very similar to Morbius, gets bit, gets transformed, and he gets powers from an animal that attacks him type situation. But yeah, they're in the comics, he's just a dude who is he's basically got the same readout as Taskmaster when it comes to power wise. He's just really strong. He's above average strength, but still a normal human being level of strength and agility, and a hand-to-hand combatant.
Yeah.
So now we gotta juice him up. We gotta make him more interesting because a regular dude would not be able to hold his own against Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was just like an apex hunter.
Yeah.
So who got rid of all their El Muerto books?
Didn't even have any.
Yeah, didn't even buy any.
I got in, got out.
Yeah, sometimes you take that quick profit on something like this.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah, you going back in 6 months whenever it gets about this.
I mean, at this point, you might find them back in the dollar bins and take it.
Hey, at that point, I'm like, y'all can have them for $1.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be George from last week and just get a big long box of them for
Oof. The thought of that, even for $1 a piece, it's just no, thank you.
It's too much space in my house.
I know. I got you. I saw this unverified sources yet to be announced, but there are rumors these are the next 6 projects to be that are known. Maybe Superman vs. the Authority, Peacemaker Season 2, Lobo, Animal Man, Mr. Terrific, and Justice League: The New Frontier. I mean, Peacemaker Season 2, we knew that's happening, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a given. It's after Superman is everything I've heard.
Right.
Because they got to get Superman done.
Right.
Mr. Terrific doesn't surprise me because there's been a lot of chatter about that one. The others, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the Superman vs. the Authority one, I think that the Authority is getting introduced in the Superman movie is what the rumor is. So it would make sense that the next thing would be him facing off against them.
It just seems like it would be very fast, but...
Are you excited for Justice League: The New Frontier?
Wasn't that an animated series that they did first?
It was an animated movie, right?
I thought so.
Yeah, that feels like a weird one. It feels really early to do the Justice League as well, but
way back in 2008, Jesus.
Yeah, that was the one where they had the period specific, 1940.
Yeah, they went back to World War II.
Yes.
So it would just be a weird movie to do live action. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, also, I mean, how does it work? I mean, is it just in title that they're doing it? Because I don't know. I mean, do you use your main continuity Superman to? I mean, that's what I was going to say. I was like, this feels like an Elseworld because it's you wouldn't want to use your main continuity Superman to do this type of movie.
Well, I just thought they were trying to reestablish a continuity, and then you throw that out. I don't know.
They were always planning on doing Elseworlds. I mean, like I said, they were always planning on having their whole Elseworld, one-off continuity situation over there, but having a mainline continuity also. I mean, it works for the comics.
Yeah, but I mean, they got to call it that then. Just call it Justice League Elseworlds.
Yeah, right. Maybe it's just maybe it's just a working title.
The normies can't handle it, man.
Yeah, right.
It also feels like an expensive project for. I mean, based on the returns they're getting now.
Well, and I was talking to somebody else about this. One of my good friends is that, I mean, when you have somebody who is bored, like I keep talking about James Gunn, and I'm trying to find like people to an analogy for who he is in this day and age. He is a more well put together Kevin Smith. So think about it. Like it's the Kevin Smith scenario, but it's like, what if Kevin Smith was an adult enough at that point in his career to run a studio? And they're like, oh, you're a comic book guy. Like instead of just having you come in and write scripts, we're gonna have you run the show. This is the type of shit that we would have got out of Kevin Smith. So I mean, that's the reason why you're getting these type of films, but in a different vein. It's like again, it's somebody who can actually, completely put together a continuous universe. So I'm like, well, I think he can pull it off by doing these like one-off Elseworld films while also same time doing mainline continuity. I think the normies will be okay with it. I mean, they've already adjusted it. Nobody was confused about where the Batman or the Joker fell in continuity. It didn't. It was that simple. Like they were hoping.
I get it. I mean, they're gonna need to like really on some of these projects just turn down the budget, like Peacemaker budget for Mr. Terrific and probably Animal Man, and you know what I mean. They can't be the big budget projects that you would do with Batman, Superman on some of these things.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that though. I mean, like we need to get back to there being more practical. I mean, first off, give CGI folks a fucking break. Like, they're basically, giving jobs to the lowest bidder when it comes to what's coming from a CGI perspective. So let's go back to things that are smaller. Let's have things on a a $75 million budget, and if it makes 150, 200, 250, call it a win and keep it moving. Like not everything needs to be like the CGI smorgasbord and like these big ballooning budgets with big name actors that command these high tabs for their appearances. Like things like Peacemaker have been shown they work. Like people were satisfied with that. Or
even Joker, right? Shoestring kind of budget. They kind of just said, "Do what you want to do." Now, I'm not saying Joaquin Phoenix is a small budget actor, but like
yeah, he didn't charge an arm and a leg though.
Yeah, he didn't break the bank to make that movie happen. Zazie Beetz was still kind of up and coming. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, De Niro was probably. I mean, well, De Niro's on the downslope of his career. Let's be real about it. So like, it wasn't an expensive movie to make.
Yeah. Next, we got Inside Superman Legacy screen test as Decision 2023 drags into the second week. So,
yeah. I mean, I would be satisfied. Most of the guys, I'm like, you all would be fine. Legitimately, David, like Cornsweat or however you pronounce his name, and Tom Brittany look like they could be brothers. So, yeah, I mean. And then they also they could be like the little brother of Henry Cavill. So like realistically, like they're not getting too far away from what's already kind of worked.
I mean, remember when the last one came out, they did like an amalgam of all the Supermans, and they all like end up looking like something close to all of them.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like seriously, David, of course, what looks like he could be. I'll drop the link into the private chat, but Homeboy looks like he could be Henry Cavill's brother. Like he looks. Yeah. That's like Cavill, but just smaller at this point. But they get him in the machine and put 50 pounds of muscle on him.
Yeah, I mean he does look.
Yeah, he looks very Cavill-esque, I guess you'd call it.
So, but yeah, I mean any one of these guys I think would be fine. So I mean I haven't watched a bunch of stuff. I mean I think unfortunately, what's his face, Nick. Holtz, I think he carries too much already existing superhero and film baggage for it to be for him to just pivot and become Superman after being Beast. I mean, because he is a working actor. I mean, he's in Renfield. He's in Captain McGrade. He has been. I mean, the dude stays working.
The Menu.
Yeah, the Menu. So, I mean, he's a working actor that I think will bring in a lot of baggage from a film perspective that I think people will have a hard time getting over seeing him as Superman.
It almost is a fresh face is what we want.
I mean, yeah, like let it go to somebody. I mean, like that dude's not hurting for roles. I mean, so let him go do something else. I mean, I know he probably really wants it because I mean, he also wanted. I mean, he wanted the Batman. Like it's funny because I thought about it, like he went for Pattinson's Batman. He's going to this one. Like he just wants to be in comic book superhero films. Like it seems like that's just might be his jam. So. Yeah.
You know what? Nicholas Hoult, he looks like a very charming bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the look I get from him. The vibe I get.
He's got a certain element of swarmy that, like, just, I mean, it really, if you've seen the Menu, it really works. Like, so.
He wasn't the Riddler in that TV show, was he?
No.
But he looks like that.
He does favor a little bit.
He's got that vibe.
Also, almost all these people are British. Like, what are we ever going to get an American Superman again? Like, I mean, I'm not one of those guys, but it's just funny. It's like the running joke about like black people in Hollywood. There was a period there where every single black person in Hollywood was actually British. Yeah. Like a regular American blacks were not getting jobs because like the Idris Albas and the like were all like snatching up everything.
I was just watching a Keenan and Peele with that too.
It's like, well, I'm actually from the streets, and most of the stuff really happened to me. It's like, but I just don't believe it.
Yes, exactly.
Not big news. I mean, this isn't earth-shattering shit, but
I mean, it kind of is.
So what is going to happen at SDCC then?
So is Hall H never going to happen again? Like,
I mean, so I don't think this is a permanently we're done. I think this really is because everybody goes to the whole, they got D23, and it's like, well, D23 is so fucking small, and most of that news, like, it makes it out. It absolutely does make it out. Yeah. But like a lot of stuff that you end up seeing at D20, like D23 is just a different beast. I still think, and it's not like they haven't skipped a year before. I think the writer's strike is true because they had the full intention. From everything I'm hearing, all these guys had the full intention of like being present at San Diego and having a real like Marvel's still going to be there. Like Marvel will still have a monstrous ass booth. It's just not going to be like most of the stuff's not going to have a Hall H association with it because you need the actors to do that. And the thing is,
so basically, they're just going to take a year off because they all know they have no content really to release that they feel good about like promoting at this point, or that they know the timeline will be good.
Well, they just can't. So again, I mean, okay, so having been in like these college panels for Mayans and all these other movies and things like that, is that I mean it's the cast on stage talking about the upcoming season and them showing a clip of whatever they have available. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Marvel. It was the cast came out after they gave us a bunch of clips. They would give us a trailer or a clip from the movie. Cast would come out. Everybody talk about how awesome the experience has been, how much fun they're having. Can't wait for you to see it. Blah blah blah. If the people can't come out on stage, then it's just Kevin Feige being like, "And here's another trailer, and here's another trailer, and here's another." Like it's just you can't. That just doesn't have the punch. So it's like rather than do it half-assed, you're just like we're just not going to do it. And the same thing goes for so many of these other ones where it's like it is a panel of the cast sitting, like if they're straight up like, unlike the Marvel ones, these are usually like the cast is sitting on stage talking about, the previous season, so taking questions from the audience, and then also maybe showing you a clip from, upcoming season or whatever else that you may not have seen. Again, if the cast can't be there and talk about it, then what the fuck are you doing? Excuse my language, but like you're
So my take about it is, so you're an SDCC veteran, obviously. A lot of people, from what I've heard is like people who went back, like, before streaming, before all this shit, back in like the 2000s or whatever, like it was like comic book, Mecca kind of stuff. And like you could still get in that day and it wasn't crazy, now it's right? People who just camp out for Hall H 4 days beforehand so they can get in, right? Or all that crazy kind of shit, right?
Yeah, Twilight also flip.
Yeah. So now for me, it's like, is it the time to go since all that shit's not happening? Where it's gonna be big, but will it be as big as since there's no real?
People bought their tickets and made their decisions way before any of the shit was announced because you have to. It sells out. Like San Diego Comic-Con, you will not be able to buy tickets within the first hour of tickets being available. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where it's like it's not going to be no smaller. What they're going to have to patch Hall H with, I'll know more once I get boots on the ground. But what they're going to have to patch Hall H with is things that are more creator-driven type of stuff, where it is like the Kevin Smiths of the world, where he is financing and making his own. Because I think I just saw something that they're going to do a Kevin Smith, what's the cow related thing from within his universe? Like there's going to be, so there'll be the Moby stuff will be there. So I think that's what's going to happen. He's had a Hall H panel at the very end of the day multiple years in a row, and I think because again it's smaller scale, it's Kevin Smith, it's a creator. It's a writer, director, creator, operated thing. I think people will feel more comfortable appearing in the capacity for something like that than they will for one of the big machine companies. So I think they're gonna have to feel it with more smaller scale stuff. You might get more of your favorite YouTube streaming type stuff or podcast related stuff. I could see them offering it up to Ringerverse because all those people are writers for a podcast and website to do a live panel or a live recording of their podcast, maybe from Hall H. I can see them offering it up to Critical Role, Rooster Teeth, things that are more creator owned and operated type packaging will get panels now. I think it's what
get us a spot.
Yeah, well, I can do one thing. A little be hilarious if we actually do it. But I think the people from from back in the day just wish it was kind of more back in the day because I know there's comics there.
It won't be back in the day.
I know. But I think
all the same fuck show vendor stuff will be there. There'll be a lot of cosplay. There'll be a lot of just a lot of being there as part of it now. The comics are barely barely present other than the big boy dealers. It's not. You're not going for the comics. You're going to be seen, and have an experience.
Yeah, regular folks just can't afford to. Having just done Heroes Con, regular folks can't afford to booth up at a San Diego and expect to make money. Yeah. Unless you approach it very specifically, and you basically are going ham on run filler type books. Don't get me wrong. You may have a couple things on your wall. You may get a home run. But generally speaking, you're not. A lot of people aren't making money being at San Diego Comic Con. Yeah. It is what it is when it comes from a comic book perspective. A lot more things that are going to move are going to be just the general pop culture knickknacks. And what's the expression? The old days are just that. The old days. The money's not there. It's not in the con's interest to lean into the comic stuff. For what they're charging for people to get in there, for what they're charging for vendors to booth up, it's more advantageous to have Marvel have basically a quarter of the floor, or Gundam, or Bandai, or one of those major Super 7 or whoever to come in there because they can afford to pay the 10 G's.
They're going to sell the exclusives. They're going to make a big profit. They're going to be happy. The fans are going to line up to get it.
Yeah, it's just not advantageous for it to go back to being a comic book convention anymore. As much as that sucks for us comic book folks, it'll never be that again because it's just not. It's an entertainment expo now. It is C2E2. It's NYCC. It is for that type of venue. It is. For somebody, again, those guys from Absolutely Comics we're talking about, they're just I think VidCon is tomorrow or something like that. It's the streaming YouTube conference, whatever. And they were just it is just a thing to be seen at, to schmooze, shake hands, and kiss babies for the creative types. It's not what it was when it initially was, its initial inception. I just think that's just where we are now.
Yeah, I mean the comic shows, they exist. They're mostly small ones now, but you want to go to a big comic show, you're going to MegaCon, you're going to Baltimore, you're going to Heroes and
Emerald City.
Yeah, a couple more. What's the one that used to be Stanley? The one that Lego always goes to.
Oh, WonderCon.
WonderCon's a little bit closer.
Yeah, but even in WonderCon, because they're run by the same people who run San Diego, it's become much the same. If you want that more comic book experience, honestly, you're go to Baltimore, go to Charlotte, Mega, Emerald City, maybe Rose City, and SummerCon up in Washington as well. Because SummerCon was this past weekend. I think there was pretty solid turnout from if you want pictures with your favorite like celebrities and also comic books, then you can do both at like a summer.
Well, I mean, almost all of them have added the celebrities, and that's just a thing.
It's $99 to go to VidCon. That's not terrible, I don't think. I mean,
it's really just a matter of do you want to just meet YouTubers, your favorite influencer? Because that's really what purpose it serves.
Well, I could be there. Maybe I'm somebody's favorite YouTuber. I'm joking.
Somebody send the invite, man.
Yo, man, I'll be on panel, man. Okay. This is Shang-Chi 2. We talked about everything getting delayed. There's another one. It's going to be taking up 26, 27 slots, maybe because of Kang Dynasty, which was delayed until May 2026. So.
I mean, I didn't even remember that this was a movie right now.
Same.
It feels so long ago.
I know. It was a good movie, though. It wasn't terrible.
No, I don't think it's bad. It just feels like, holy crap, he's going to be 40.
I mean, it's a product of post-COVID. It's coming immediately off the tail of COVID. It was just a whirlwind of like things that came out. We saw them and we're just like, oh man, this seems like it was forever ago. I mean, what else was like, I think we got one or two of those Sony movies came out during that time period. It was just like, Let There Be Carnage came out during that like post-COVID time period. It was like, oh, Black Widow.
Yeah.
That's funny. Somebody was trying to, I was at a convention yesterday and we were talking about, somebody was trying to sell off their first Shang-Chi and just like nobody wanted it. It was like almost radioactive.
Oh, that's tough.
Which was interesting.
What's funny? Other book that's kind of radioactive is Marvel Premiere 15. I've been trying to buy. I just want to. I just splurge on like a 7.0 for like $240. Or an 8.0 for.
Just keep waiting. I think.
You think so?
Oh, it's got nowhere to go for a while.
Okay, because it's a cool cover. I just wanted
Yeah, we were talking about that book too, and the only thing Iron Fist related that's hot is number 14. That's literally the only Iron Fist book anybody wants.
I mean, if you really want one of those, you watch for an auction and you'll snag one.
Yeah. Last but not least, we talked about the Flash, but today, in breaking news, the Flash got leaked on Twitter with 1.7 million views. So.
Yikes!
So how much? Like, I have no concept of this. So let's say this actually each view was a button a seat. I know it doesn't work that way, but
so
how much is one button a seat worth to the actual movie?
17 million. If you $10 a ticket, right? And that's being generous. I mean, or that's
I don't know what gets counted in that number.
I would say I would probably say it's not 17 million. I'd probably say it's like 10 million, maybe.
I don't know.
I
mean, it's not that big of a number. It's not. Yeah. It's not going to save the Flash. Yeah. Which is amazing. Like, it's amazing how poorly it's doing, right?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of be expected.
So it wasn't so the budget's like it just broke even, right? Pretty much, like it's not like it's a hitting on.
Well, that's before advertising and all that. Like they said, it's still probably $150K from actually thinking about making money internationally. But in the U.S. in 2 weeks, it's made maybe 70.
I think I hate to say it, like I know Ezra Miller. People had that old thing, and maybe that's what it is, and maybe people were like, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna spend my money. I'll just wait for it to come on." XYZ little later, and I'll just watch it then. You know.
Well, I mean, so it's the fact that like we have been conditioned to this to a certain degree. I mean, the companies did their job with the streaming services. It's like, well, no, wait and watch it on a streaming service. Like, well, now, I mean, I made the reference to Fast X, but yeah, Fast X, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it was out in streaming. So it's kind of one of those like,
well, it's definitely video on demand, not quite streaming, but yes.
Yeah, again,
like you can pay $20 and your whole family can watch it on the couch.
Well, when I say streaming, I refer to anything that like you can physically sit in home and and instead of spending, I mean, $12 down here, $30 in California, you know, it's you could spend the $19.99 and the entire family and then some people if you want to come over can all sit there and watch it.
And I think the other thing too is how can I say this? It's the comfortability, right? So it's like I can watch it whenever I want to watch it. I don't have to show up at a fucking theater at 7:30 or somebody trying to find a babysitter. I can just watch it at 11 o'clock when my kid goes to bed, at 1 a.m. or something, or whatever,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's interesting to me also is like I went with my brother-in-law, my kids, and my wife. Like we talked about it afterwards, and my brother-in-law nor my wife realized Keaton was doing it, and I'm like, really? Like I think we underestimate like the normies, like even paying attention to the Flash. Like my oldest was like, I didn't even know there was a Flash movie, and I'm like, yes,
Well, I mean, do your kids actually watch television, or are they watching like YouTube Red? Because if they're watching YouTube Red, they're getting no ads. So like if they're watching things that only present to them, like if they're not watching television or streaming services, then they're not getting the ads. I mean, the normies know what the Flash is.
It's funny though, right? It's like in my head, this was advertised fairly well, but again, it's all the advertising directed to you. You're right, so they have no concept of it.
And the young kids nowadays, and like even like my wife, it's like if it's not added on TikTok, right? Because everybody just watches TikToks now or any kind of other social media platform like that. They they're not gonna who watches TV anymore? People watch 15-second TikToks or a minute TikToks.
Oh, it's like I find myself watching reels or something, and I'm like, why did I just kill myself brain cells for 20 minutes? I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that it's a combination of both people being anti-Ezra and then the fact that Ezra was not allowed to do the press for this movie. And so I think it is a double-edged sword of like your lead is both poisonous to the film and also was not allowed to promote the film because they're poisonous. So again, there's been a smaller press cycle. I mean, I just haven't seen it. I mean, so again, as somebody who, while I'm working has a monitor up just playing YouTube in the background, like again, Spider-Verse was an animated movie and there was multiple of the big YouTube channels having, Shameik Moore and Haley Steinfeld doing something. I mean, they were on Ellen, they were on Good Morning America, they were on all of the outlets talking about the film. I saw none of that for The Flash. So they promoted it in ads. They leaned in hard in the ads because there was an ad where it was just like Keaton is back as Batman. Watch The Flash in theaters. Like legitimately, Ezra Miller wasn't even in the goddamn in that clip. It was Batman, and then it was the logo for The Flash. So they stuck 100% with traditional commercial ad campaign and kind of stayed away from having them do the typical press junket because they were worried about having to answer the questions.
Yeah, well, I've seen more ads for the new Barbie movie with fucking Ryan Gosling and goddamn. And more than the goddamn Flash. It's like, she's. They're leading into it. I know Barbie's. It's got to be a big movie. Obviously, Gosling and what's her face are huge actors, and it's like, for me too. It's like, you got to bring girls in to watch that movie, right? Or maybe it's a funny thing, and maybe guys will go see it with their wives and stuff like that. But like you said, it's not a traditional campaign ad kind of generation when it comes to the Flash, but. Let's talk about thoughts of the Flash. Z, any thoughts? I guess.
I mean, it was an enjoyable movie. I understand Ezra is a fucking mess of a person, and it is what it is. Who knows with all the Marvel stuff going on too? It sounds like who knows, but just on watching the movie for what it was, all my kids enjoyed it for different reasons. They all thought it was funny. There was enough like deep cuts for us, and enough kind of simple humor for normal people, and overall was fairly enjoyable. Good cast. Sasha, is it Calais?
Callie.
Yeah, Callie.
She was fine. There just wasn't much for her, They didn't take long to develop that role, so that was a little like I don't know. I could have used just a little more story there. But overall, I thought it was an enjoyable movie. There was a lot of fun stuff. I mean, it was definitely going for some comedy, but it wasn't like it wasn't trying to be a Marvel movie per se. It had some good stuff. I mean, even the stupid after scene was hilarious just for what it was. So I overall liked it. I liked it more than I thought I would.
Cool.
I don't. Chris, did you got anything to add on that?
Yeah, so I mean, I saw it. CGI was terrible. I will say that the CGI was god awful, atrocious. But yeah, Jen, I did enjoy the movie. Like, I did have to play the whole separation game. There was definitely comments that felt kind of self-aware of like what the situation was around Ezra Miller. Like, I mean, within the first 15 minutes of the movie, when he saves that nurse, he goes, he was like, "You've just been through a very traumatic event. You should probably see a mental health provider." He was like, "The Justice League isn't really great at that part yet." And I'm just like, was that more of a meta commentary on you, Ezra, than the Justice League? Like, it felt very like self-aware at times when it was doing things like everybody knows that Ezra's run is weird. Like his flash run is super weird. And so they make a joke about that when they have him do it at some point in the movie when he, spoiler alert, when he's depowered, he does his weird like floaty arm run, and it's like a funny clip from the movie. So again, I think it was generally well done. I think if Ezra didn't carry the baggage that he carried, I think the movie, generally speaking, would have done much better because it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, the CGI was atrocious, but other than that, the movie was pretty solid.
It was the most enjoyable role I've seen him in because he usually drives me batty. I like in the Harry Potter stuff and the previous ones. He hadn't had any like charisma, and I think they sort of found it here. And I don't know. I mean, the Flash origin's annoying, and it's always the same. He's also fighting, charisma of Grant Gustin, who's fairly beloved, and all the even the 90s Flash was very charismatic. He's just not been that guy. So I thought it was, some of the things were surprisingly good. Like, there was no way we weren't going to enjoy fucking Keaton, right? We all wanted to see that. We were all psyched. That section of the movie was going to be awesome. I just thought the Flash stuff was better than I thought. I mean, the multiverse stuff of the different versions of heroes was great. We talked about the Kevin Smith freaking throwing us a bone on that thing was hilarious. I had to explain it to my kids, but I thought all that was great.
Will you watch it again? Would you both watch it again?
I would probably sit through it again. I mean, not immediately, but I would definitely eventually rewatch it just to. I mean, there were some parts in it where I kind of need to pause, like when you have the multiversal incursion that's happening in there. Like, there was a point when you saw Jay Garrick Flash, and I was like, me being like a deep cut like film and comic book nerd, I did not know what Flash that was. I don't remember there being a 20s or 30s serialized Jay Garrick situation. I remember there being the the George Reeves one, and that gets referenced. Like, so you see George Reeves at one point, you see Christopher Reeves, you see again, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched it, I apologize now. But yeah, so you get like, you know, and some people thought that was a little ghoulish to, you know, basically do the CGI situation with all of those like people who have long since passed. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it, but I could see where people are like, that was kind of in poor taste. But honestly, don't blame the studio. The studio's here to make money. Blame those people's families and people who have control of their estates, because they're the ones who were cash grabby enough to agree to let that shit happen.
But it wasn't like in a disrespectful way either.
I mean, even still, it's cash grab. Like it's trying to like play with your, you know, your emotions for the sake of like nostalgia purposes, so you would leave it and go talk about it, so that other people would go see it. So I mean,
you know what? If those people's estates got some money, then good for it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know who did it, who didn't, but hopefully they did.
I mean, they definitely had to. Like there was no concept when George Reeves or Christopher Reeves or any of those people were alive to sign over likeness rights in that manner. So like they definitely would have had to go back and be like, so we want to CGI George Reeves into this movie as Superman. How much is that going to cost us? Or we're willing to offer you this amount of money to do it. And somebody in that man's family was like, yeah, I'll take whatever you're offering, and you know, you can shake the ghost of my, you know, father, uncle, whoever is like of George Reeves.
It's not like he's selling a Swifter, you know. They were just. It was overall respectful. It wasn't like, you know, degrading anybody's memory. Would have been really fun to do a meta twist on the movie with Affleck playing George Reeves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the point that people brought
could have been a fun meta moment.
Is that so many people are living. I mean, I think the one problem with the Nicolas Cage reference is they're like, all right, well, there's not a whole lot of living Superman, so you know, we'll give you that one. But like to have, you know, Clooney and let's see, who else did they do? They did Adam West. It was like, wait a minute, there's still about what, like 7 living Batmen running around here that could have actually like, you know, put the suit back on, or that you could have CGI'd young again to make that work. It's just interesting that they went Adam West, they went, you know, George Reeves, you know, Christopher Reeves. It's just like the people they chose were very interesting when they, you know, there's what, at least 5 living Batman right now that they could have gone pluck from. Minus Val Kilmer, who's just not in a state physically where he could have gone.
Well, I think they chose selectively. I think they chose pretty well. And I think the Nick Cage thing, you really had to be in it to get it. Like, I laughed about it and I had to like really explain it to my kids. But like, you know, there's been documentaries about it, and like just the stories of that little potential story were epic. So it was kind of fun to see somebody just take the promo and do something with it, you know?
No, absolutely. I mean, that one I appreciate it. I definitely had to explain that one to my partner because she was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Okay, so I played you the Kevin Smith clip, but I was like, it actually was going to happen. Like, there's test footage of him in the costume with like." There's, you know, there's photos and draft artwork of production stills of plans for, you know, Brainiac and all this other stuff. I mean, the concept, it could have been a great movie or it would have been a great catastrophe, but I hate that we never got to see it. And so that was cool for that to happen in that point. Because there are people who didn't get it. There are people who are younger than us who were just like, oh, you know, they did that off of a Kevin Smith joke or a Kevin Smith story. I'm like, no. This really was a thing in history. You just weren't young enough to remember that it was a thing in history. When, like 96, 97, this was really going to happen. So
yeah, I mean, the thing is, they could have also carried it on to too long and been 1,000 different people. Honestly, I feel like they probably should have given Gustin a quick screen.
That was another one. They were like, why didn't he get an opportunity to like show up?
You know, like one little blurb, just to, because I mean, he's fucking been the Flash.
Yeah, true. Maybe he was just done. Like, I mean, he's growing his facial hair out. He's like, I'm trying to move on with my career.
They didn't even give the '90s guy, did they?
No. Well, because that had already been done to death in the Flash TV show.
I know,
including Ezra showing up in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
No, I understand it, but I'm like, if you're gonna give different versions, you're gonna show us Jay Garrett. What's it gonna cost you to give a second clip of one of those two?
No, I mean, it wouldn't have been expensive at all. So, I mean, I would have appreciated it, but I can see why they didn't do it because, again, we are like that was the whole premise of the Flash was having that guy both play Jay Garrett and play Barry Allen and the guy who played his father in the '90s Flash was like played at least 3 different characters in that show.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. Oh well, he was who made the Flash cool for me though. Because let's be honest, when that costume came out, it was the baddest ass thing we had seen.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a fucking spandex suit. You're like, oh, they can do a halfway decent hero suit for a minute. So.
Well, that's all I got for news, my man. You got to your time to shine, baby.
All right. And probably you'll see it on streaming in like 2 weeks, the way it's going. All right. Let's see. No particular order. I apologize. I got caught at swim meet, so I didn't have a ton of time to do a bunch of research. So some of it's just amusing stuff. It's a really nice copy of the first Parasite. I don't know why you'd be specking on it, but there are people that actually want the book just to have the book, and that's a hell of a nice copy. So go for that. This one was fucking gorgeous looking for a 2.0 old label. That might be a book I would take a chance on if I'm a press and grade type person. I mean, that is just look at the colors on that goddamn thing. It's gorgeous. Sandman cover, just fucking, just pops. A lot of stuff from Blizzard. He had a hell of an auction. Just in case you're wondering, he pops up probably 60% of these images. A couple foreign books. I haven't talked about this run in a while, but these are from the Mexican non-canon run. There was a couple auction. There was actually 3 that went up, I think, and 1 didn't sell. At these prices for 6.5, I probably would have bought them, except I have both of these issues in multiples. They don't seem to be the hardest ones to get, but it's a Kraven issue. Not a fantastic cover, but fairly high grade for a Mexican issue. This one as well, a lower grade, but kind of a cool cover with the ants and the bikini girl, but just a low enough grade that I don't think it was worth that price. At least for me, I've got a few of those again, but good to see a couple pop up and actually just see a little of action outside of the main couple in that run. This book had me baffled. Captain Marvel Adventures 3, kind of the original gimmick cover with the silver lightning bolt. I got digging into it. There's not a ton of sales of this book in general, and within the grade range, it's kind of selling on par based on the 8s and the 6s. But 3 times this book has sold on GPA. 2019 for 1,440 and 2010 for 1,320. So you could actually have gotten this book almost 15 years ago for less. So that is wild to me that it has not moved at all.
But how many people do you go to cons like looking for Captain Marvel stuff? Yes.
I don't know, but it's a fairly high grade of this book, which again, is it the most beautiful cover of all time? No, but it's an interesting book. It's like I said, the Silver Lightning Bolt, an early one in his self-title. It amazes me how low it is. Like if it just went up 50%, you'd be like, well, that's still depressing. But to be the same price 15 years after all the boom, it's an interesting point to be. Batman Grendel, the silver ash can, the foil one, very rare book to find. Did a little price comparison. In a 9.6 in 2021 sold for $2,100. A 9.4 in 2021 sold for about $350. Probably a tad tad higher than I would expect. I think it's just a rare book, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it does not come up very often. Here's one I can say I've never noticed before, an L.B. Cole Living Bible #1. If you're a Cole fan and a Bible fan, this is your book. Cross some genres from the cheesecake covers and crime covers to the Living Bible. So add this to your want list, guys.
I mean, it's not a bad price at 6.0, $338.
I have no idea, honestly, right? I mean, the demand cannot be high, but it does have. You still see his colors and his vibe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Bone. This one just sold
Damn.
today. So kind of some reference points. A 9.8 last sold for $12K at the end of 2022. There was a sale for $9K for a 9.6 in 2022 and $8K in 2021. So it's actually down quite a bit. The Netflix thing fell apart, blah, 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 blah. I'm just surprised it fell so far. But again, so is everything else. So, it's probably not at a terrible point to buy in again for some of these books, because I think certain books the spec value is gone, the nostalgia value is gone. I still think this one's probably gotten an audience that expands because of all the Scholastic reprints and all of that stuff. Like, this book probably has a more natural, like, expanded audience than most of the stuff. Even like, you know, The Crow is really a limited thing. Even if another movie comes out, I don't know that it's going to do anything. Grendel, it's more just a one-off. The Ninja Turtles have been big forever. This is kind of like the lower tier of that, where like they've been active in print for so long, they just haven't been in other media. So it's an interesting one for me. Just checking in on, again, some Blizzard auctions. He had some lower to mid-grade books that just kind of getting a beat on prices. A Fantastic Four #5, solid sale. A Daredevil 1, paying about a $1,000 a point. This was a weird one. A Raw Hulk #1, listed in fair condition, but I don't know how accurate that description was.
You had 25 picks. You want to go through them?
Yeah, I don't really want to. I mean, I looked at the picks. I mean, it sold for a 1.8 to 2.0 graded copy, so I think enough people felt like there was a little room to go on it. I didn't read the description, and I don't guarantee it's not trimmed because it is pretty tight on that one edge. Likely something funny is going on with it, but there were enough people to take a gamble on it to pay a 2.0 price. The cover looks really nice, so that's worrisome. But hell of a sale for a Raw book.
The description is terrible.
It looked like a non-comic seller to me.
No, they said we aren't savvy comic book dealers, but they have more comic book auctions.
Yeah.
And it's one of those we can't grade anything. It looks fair and good overall condition. You know, we can't guarantee it. You know.
Just looking at the pictures, I'd probably put it around a 2 to maybe a 3. There were some missing chunks of pages and little stuff, but you're ballsy as hell to pay that much for a Raw book unless you asked a lot more questions than I saw. And
well,
again, I still don't.
Right.
I still don't feel good about that edge. That looks real close to being trimmed, but also there's a lot of spine roll. So I don't know. It's a gamble.
Just so people can see. You're talking about this right edge?
Yeah, we pull one of like an edge pick.
I mean, it looks super sharp for some reason.
I know.
Like all the way down.
Looks worrisome.
Did they show the inside of the front cover?
I don't believe so.
It doesn't. I mean, the other end rolls, so it looks less like it's trimmed, unless it was trimmed and then rolled. I don't know.
It looks trimmed up top up here, man. Like it looks.
No, but like a trim book should go all the way down flat across all the layers, and it doesn't.
Yeah,
that damn thing looks colored in.
I don't
like
know.
An activity book.
Somebody either got a fantastic deal or is fluked. Probably more likely fluked, but what are you gonna do?
They can return it.
This one, I don't. This hasn't popped up on GPA, so it might not be paid yet. But somebody apparently took Dino's little Lobo spoiler from somewhere and bid on this. But there are 9/8s at about this price that haven't sold, so it feels like fuckery.
your boy. We're gonna have a pickup soon.
Like I don't know. No 9/8s have sold since this sale. This was pretty recent, like today or yesterday. And there's a bunch of them sitting in the 400 range or just under. So it feels like fuckery, or some people got excited, or something went weird. I don't know. Strange Mysteries, just like this cover, red dress, skull. The hands are not that cool. They are a little just ugly, but I mean, the cover itself is gorgeous. Honestly, if you left the hands off, I think it would even be more eerie. But nice color for a 2.0. Here's a rare bitch of a book, raw, signed.
I thought these were for like $2,000, wasn't it, back in the day when people were talking about it? Like $2,000 or something.
That was a graded one, wasn't it?
I think so, maybe.
This is a raw.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine if it was meant to be graded, it would be graded.
Correct.
It's probably not meant to be graded. I have not paid attention to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle second print number 4 before, but it's kind of neat to see two of them sell next to each other. These went, I don't know, within the same 15, 20 minutes. So almost 3 times the price for the second print. You got to be a hardcore collector to be going for those, but somebody needed it for their run. Yet another Vault of Horror 35 selling. It's down a bit, I think. I mean, I had a 5.0 I sold in 2020 time frame for, I think, 1,500. So really, this is kind of down from when I sold that to the next couple sales. I felt like an asshole, and now it's kind of back to where I don't feel like an asshole. So, and then one last one. Easy sent this, is a high grade pedigree copy of Young King Cole, Volume 3, Number 4. Not an exciting book, but just interesting to see some of these being sold. And I gotta imagine people taking a loss on some of this with heritage and the fees and all of that. I mean, it's cheap. This is not a cover I'd buy, but if you're somebody that just wants a one of the promised pedigrees, that you may be able to find something interesting cheap. Just because people bought the shit out of it at one point and now they're kind of getting bored with it. So see what happens. I've had a Mile High. I've had all the other ones. I sold a lot of them, so I lose interest quickly, but a pedigree one would be kind of cool in the right book. That's it.
Let's see. We got I don't have pickups. Anybody got pickups? I don't have anything.
Yeah, I got something.
Okay.
All right, Carter.
Hold on.
You tell Sylvester to hold on, man.
Okay. So I got like 3 magazines back from CGC. And
how long were they gone?
Well over a year. Well over a year. Now, this is the one I'm probably the most disappointed with.
Oh,
Captain Britain 1, 8.5 at the very least. It's white pages, but I was hoping for at least a 9. Honestly, this makes me want to crack the damn thing out, to be honest with you. But
I mean, also, if you press something a year ago, some of those little fine lines coming back, right?
Probably, but yeah, this thing is a little. I'm not feeling it because I kind of just wanted to get it encapsulated just for the hell of it, but now
you keep
you're disappointed and you got to get rid of it, or you're gonna have to stare at it and be like an Albatross.
Hey, yeah. bring it to August. I might buy it from you.
Because I mean, this is the only copy that I have, so I really wouldn't want to sell it. But
it's like a disappointing child at this point. I know the feeling, man.
Let's do this one. Let's go from one Marvel mag to another. So I got my second copy of Foom graded. I don't know why I did it because the one that I have is a 9.6. I have, and this one was loose, and I kind of liked reading it, but I don't know. I got it graded.
Read it once, you're good.
And I was surprised because I thought it was going to get like a VG. So a 6.5 with white pages.
Take that.
All right. I forget how much I paid for this. I totally forget. But all right. This was a pleasant surprise. And last but not least, we have Love and Rockets #1.
Ooh. Nice.
And came back a 9.2 white pages.
Solid.
Yeah, because when I found this, I'm like, okay, so I never see this book. Mm-mm. And the last time I did was roughly, it was like almost 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And when I saw this for like maybe $100 or something, I'm like, oh crap, this thing is gorgeous. So, and it came back in.
Never seen a nice copy in real life.
Right? Yeah, because the one that I had before that, I mean, it was all ticked up.
Shit.
Yeah. I'd say there's like a crease right there, like a heavy crease right there. That's probably the only real flaw on it. So,
all right.
That's what I got.
Cool. We got next.
I mean, I've got two of the same thing. I mean, we'll see if finally, news around this group actually pays off, but decided to grab two of these bad boys because they were on the cheap. So,
no.
I almost put one in the market report. What'd you pay?
I managed to snag like for $5 and $5.50 respectively.
I think one just sold for like high 4. So
yeah, I was watching that auction, and when it jumped into because it was like $2.50 going into the last 10 seconds, and I was just like, oh, maybe I scoop one up for like dirt cheap, and then it jumped into the 4s, and I was like, I don't want it that bad.
Yeah.
At this point, I've got
got a stack, right?
Of the white copies. So
yeah, you're okay for now.
Yeah, so I don't need any more of these, and then I've got like 4 of the regular covers as well. So I think that's probably where we're going to stop at. 8's more than enough of these. And I mean, I've had my 9.8 regular copies for years. I mean, I've watched the book go from a $100 book to $1,000 book and back down again.
Well, you can always, wait and see if in 6 months it's down more, buy some more.
Hopefully, what's supposed to happen will happen in the next 6 months. So, it'll be the time to sell.
Yeah, we will see.
Mr. Z, anything?
No, I'm still saving for the video game convention next month.
I don't have anything. I'll have something next week probably because Sleepy's sending it to me. So.
Nice.
I don't know. Yeah, that's all we got. Me and Carter are watching wrestling stuff, so maybe we'll have a wrestling show next week or two.
Probably.
Yeah, Money in the Bank's this week, right?
It is?
I don't know.
Dang. Oh, yeah. It's on the 1st, yeah.
Yeah, so we got to watch that.
So we're due.
Yeah, we're due. Yeah. So and we
how's that tattoo coming along? Do you know?
It's not there yet. I need to go. I just need to find time to do it. I don't know. I'll make it happen though. I'll make it happen. I'm not worried. Like I have the wrap on my arm as I go. I don't care. I don't even know when SummerSlam. We talked about it. When is it? August 5th. I got a month. We can make it.
Feels like you're not gonna make it, Dino.
We can make it. I'm not worried. I'll slide in.
Okay.
Get it done out of somebody's house. You know how it is. It's terrible. What else? So you're loving Rockets book again, Carter. Let's see. How can you? Okay, here's a question for everybody. How do you tell the first print over all the other prints?
The price.
The price is one of them.
Yeah, because $2.95. Because you have the original black and white cover, but this is basically the first print of the reprint. You know what I'm saying?
The first print of the real thing. The other one, it's kind of like an ash. I won't say an ash can, but a limited release.
But anything that's not the first print is going to be a higher price.
But they blew the market out of the black and white one because I think one of the brothers had a bunch of copies or somebody had a bunch of copies because they've been released on a slow bleed and have killed the fucking market on that one.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. That's all we got tonight. What else is going on? I might as well promote it. I promote it every time, so might as well do it again. People are gonna hate me for it, but that's okay. Obviously, we're doing our Flipside Comic Con August 26th. If you want to bend, hit me up.
You filled up most of your booths yet?
No, I could do. I don't know. I'm probably 4 or 5 more people, maybe. But it's still a small area. I could probably put 14, 15 people in there, maybe. Just how crammed do you want to make it? Yeah.
I keep trying to twist Ozzy's arm.
Do it, man.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
I got you. But yeah, so if people want to hang out, visit us, do some stuff,
have some beers, see the CEO.
Yeah.
You're gonna bring the jacket and the chain, take some pictures.
I could.
Get some babies.
I could. I might even set up. I don't even know. I think I could do it. I just gotta go through all my boxes and just set up myself. I don't give a shit.
Carter's gonna show up and you can take pictures with a hand.
Yeah, that's right.
He's gonna hold your baby with one hand on the head.
He could just do a drawing outline of something on a blank sketch cover. What else? I got a cool book I'm getting developed. I want to shout out Yee. So I'm doing a Bandit from Bluey book. On a total crazy premise, and then the Bandit, the voice actor, is going to be at Twin Cities Comic Con, so I'll get him to sign it. So,
you degenerates.
I know. So I'll put it in the back probably back here. I'll probably never sell it because it'll just be for my kid when he gets. He won't remember it. Dad, why'd you get this for me?
No, my kids don't remember any of that shit. It's so annoying.
Yeah,
you spend 2 years watching the shit with them, and then they go, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. Or they'll say like my one of my older nieces is Bluey's for babies, but she still watches it.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So, all right, everybody, we're gonna call it, and then we'll see everybody next week. And see you later. So,
all right, later, guys.